If you want to just start it out, be energetic about it, and just be like, what's going on, guys?
Yeah.
And go on with it.
Okay. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? Chris Young here with the Aim for Game Outdoors. And who else other than by my side, my buddy Chewy.
Yes.
So today we're doing our first series video on our podcast, Racks on the Rocks. And so since Chewy shot him a nice buck this season, we're going to start with him. So if you ain't got anything to say, we can get started with this. You ready? So Chewy, how'd you get started in hunting? Was it something you did growing up, or was it something you started in life later on through a friend or a family member?
I got started in hunting when I was younger. I'd probably say somewhere when I was around like 12 years old, maybe a little bit younger, 10, through my grandpa. We went out squirrel hunting once. That's kind of when I fell in love with it. I just love being out in the woods, enjoying just the time out there, spending it with my grandpa, and just the peace and quiet that comes with it. And then later on in life, I didn't really do it consistently. Later on in life, I kind of got back into it pretty much through you. When I noticed that you were starting to go out hunting again, and I was at a point in my life where I wanted to try to find different hobbies, something new, something different that I could start up and do consistently. And so I started hunting again periodically. I didn't hunt much. Went out turkey hunting a couple times the first time I started getting back into it, and then the next season I went turkey hunting again in the spring, and then fall turkey a couple times, and then did a day or two of rifle season and deer because I didn't have a bow yet. I didn't take that leap to invest in one. And then you brought the idea of starting up Aim for Game Outdoors to me, and that's pretty much when I got a lot more serious about it, you know, and really took to getting out there and prepping and making sure that, you know, I could be successful during that season. So yeah, that's pretty much how I got started in it.
Good deal. Well, Chewy, what are some of your preparations that you did before the upcoming season?
Well, some of the things I did was I had a couple spots. One was an existing spot from Sarah's grandfather that was out on her dad's farm, which is where I hunt at. And then I put up a tree stand about a year or two ago. There's a big set of the power lines that kind of cut through the property, and that's a great place where the deer like to bed down and whatnot. So we put a tree stand up over on that side at a good enough angle where we could see both left and right clearly down the power line. But this past season, I wanted to find a different spot, something that was a little bit more into the woods. I have two creeks that kind of come downhill and meet each other, and they join and turn into one. continue on downhill, which is, we call it Two Creeks. And I knew that would be a great spot to set up, so I set up a spot down that way. And I went walking through, I noticed a few trails that kind of went east to west, and the spot that I set up my camera and everything in, these trails kind of split and went around. So right in the dead center of those two trails is where I set up my food plot and set up my game camera, and was able to take some good pictures and be able to find out what was in that area and what was coming in and actually feeding off the corn and everything that I had set out. So from there, you know, I told you about it, and we went out and cleared out a spot about 20, what was it about? Yeah, it was about 20-25 yards uphill, looking down at it, and put a blind up there, because getting a tree stand down there is going to be hell, but eventually we'll get one down there. But yeah, so that was the preparation to get set up for that area and be able to find out what was in that area and down in there. And yeah, on the camera I got good pictures of several bucks. The 10-pointer I got, there's a 9-pointer down there, an 8-pointer roaming around. I had a couple pictures of a 6-pointer, a picture of a spike, plenty of doe.
That 8-pointer came in, what, a couple days before? That 8-pointer, what, came in a couple days before the Big Ten?
Yeah. The first pictures that I got on there were of doe, and then shortly after that I had the 9-pointer come in. He stayed around for a little bit. I got him for a few days, and then all of a sudden that 10-pointer come in about a day or two after, and that got me excited.
Yeah.
So I knew that's the one that I wanted to get. So that's what I planned on, and I knew I was going to be patient. I told myself, you're going to be patient, you're going to wait, and you're going to bag him. So yeah, I went out there, you know, making sure my camera's working constantly, so I can make sure I could definitely see what time he's coming in, what his actions were, you know, if he's you know, pretty friendly with all the other ones, or if he's kind of like a loner. And he was pretty friendly. Him and the 9 came in together quite a bit. I did have a few pictures at one point right before rut where they were fighting each other, but it wasn't anything too intense or too crazy. So, but after that, I mean, they still kept coming in and hanging out with each other.
Probably two brothers getting along.
Yeah.
Alright, Chewy, serious question here. What is your absolute favorite part about hunting?
I'd probably say, out of all the things that I enjoy about hunting, that my most favorite is just the peace and quiet that you get out of it. When you're sitting out there in the woods and there's just nothing around, no cars, no, you know, helicopter noises or ambulances driving around or kids screaming, spouses screaming, you know, just nothing. It's just birds chirping, you know, maybe you hear a gobble here and there from some turkey or some clucking, you know, squirrels, little bastards, you know.
Yep, something that you can't get on the couch.
Yep, but yeah, I'd say just the peace and quiet that is so stress relieving and relaxing, just to be out there and just enjoying nature.
Alright, so we just got a bunch of questions here. So what part of hunting season do you prefer the most? Archery, muzzleloader, rifle, or crossbow?
I don't crossbow. I'd say now that I've gotten more into archery, that's kind of my favorite. I enjoy the challenge that comes with it. Yep. You know, because there's not far of a distance that you can really shoot with a bow. I mean, you can and you can try, but in the woods it's not ideal. So archery is definitely probably my favorite season. I do like rifle because it gives me a challenge to just pretty much a distance.
Yeah.
I've always been someone who's, I've always thought about going in and trying to do long-range rifle shooting and stuff like that, but I've never gotten into it. So that kind of gives me a little bit of excitement to try and see how far I can get one at.
Yeah.
But by far, archery is definitely my favorite, and got my new bow last year, which is a Hoyt RX4 Ultra, and I absolutely love it. It's a 60-pound pull, and I got gold tip arrows with the Grim Reaper broadheads, mechanical broadheads, and they work dangerously.
So, the main question, did you bag a buck this past season?
I did. I got my 10-pointer. I'd gone out for a few weeks, probably, I don't know, 2 or 3 days a week, maybe probably on average about 2 days a week when I was able to get out. And sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. I always kept going back and reviewing my pictures, seeing what times he come in. He did come in a few times in the morning, but mostly he would come in the afternoon. And there was the one day I went out, it was in the afternoon, and I just had a feeling he was going to come in that day. I had plenty of doe come in and wasn't seeing a buck. I told myself I'm going to wait a little bit longer before it gets too dark. If I don't see a buck, then I'm going to bag me a doe, just so I can get some meat in the freezer. But shortly after that, I started seeing some antlers coming walking through the woods, and I was hoping to God it was him. And as it got closer and closer, where I could get a clear view of it, it ended up being the 8-pointer that come in. And I could have took him. He was a good-looking 8-pointer. He was young though, had a nice rack, but he definitely needed some time to grow. So I ended up passing on him, and that next week, it was a Thursday, I was at work, and I really had a good feeling that he was going to show up. I really had a good feeling. I told Sarah the night before, I said, look, I'm going to go out after work. I just have a feeling he's going to show up, and I'm going to get him. So right after work, like I said, I had all my stuff in my truck. I went out there, sat in the blind. I was probably out there for an hour 45, and I started having some doe come in. And then again, I told myself, if he doesn't show up, I'm going to take a doe. That way I can put some meat in the freezer. And it wasn't even 10 minutes after that, I had a little doe come walking up toward the blind. She was going uphill to my right, and all of a sudden, she just come darting downhill, like she got spooked by something. I'm like, all right, something's up that way. And I'm sitting there looking, and I'm trying to look around, see if I can see anything. And then, sure enough, I start seeing antlers come walking through. And I'm like, oh shit, all right, oh my God, here he is. And then he finally comes through. I can see all of it. I can see every point. And I start counting. I'm like, please God, let it be him. Please God, let it be him. And I was like, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I finally got to 10. I'm like, it's him. I got super excited. And he come walking down, and he got into the spot and was at the perfect angle, walking in slowly. And I tell you, I did everything wrong in that moment.
That you did.
As you can see from the video we posted, I was in your seat, which sat a little too low to be able to get a good shot out of the window, out of the blind. And when I grabbed my bow, because I had it sitting there with the arrow in it and set, and I forgot about that. So when I grabbed my arrow and I went to go turn so I could set up, I knocked over all the cameras.
Yep.
Made a loud bang. And he looked up, but he wasn't spooked. He's just sitting there looking. And I'm sitting there in my head like, please God, don't leave, please God, don't leave. And I'm sitting there trying to get, set up and try to draw my bow back, but it was, like I said, your seat was sitting a little too low. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna switch back over to my seat. That one sits a little higher. So I'm sitting there shuffling around trying to get over to my seat, and I finally get there, and he's still just sitting there looking, and I get settled in. I didn't take no time at that point. As soon as I got sat down, I drew my bow back, and I got it right where I wanted to hit him, and I just let it fly. And he took off like a bat out of hell, went downhill, and like anyone, I'm sitting there, my heart's pounding, I'm in excitement, I'm ready to go. I'm like, yes. And I go out, I start walking down, see if I can find the blood trail, and I couldn't find no blood anywhere. I'm like, oh, please God, let me know I hit him. Please tell me I hit him. And still couldn't. I'm looking around, couldn't find no blood. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start walking downhill to where the direction he went, see if I can see anything. And I walked probably about 5 feet and saw a couple spots. I'm like, oh, all right, I hit him. How good did I hit him? That's the next question. And so I keep walking, following the little trail, and then I can see more spots, bigger spots, just more blood splattered on the trees, on the leaves, on the ground. And I'm like, I hit him good. And I get about halfway down to where he had fell, and all of a sudden I hear him take his last breath. I hear that. And I'm like, yes, he's close.
It's a good sound.
He's close. And so I keep going, and I end up going through some thorns, with thin gear on, it's sticking me. And it was a lot. So
everybody, if you don't believe that, please go watch the video,
yeah,
and you will laugh your ass off.
Yeah. And please
and you can actually hear him praying in the blind.
Yeah.
So this deer does not go anywhere.
Yeah. Just know that there's a lot of F-bombs dropped, but it's part of the game.
Yep, I remember being in the woods, and then you attacked about 6:30. You sent me a text back saying nope, nothing. And then an hour later, I get the picture right through my phone as soon as I'm packing up. And then I call you right as soon as you sent it. I was like, dude, you lied to me. He's like, no. No. Like, it literally just happened, I swear. And then, I couldn't get over that night because as soon as I left, got home about 8, you gave me a call saying you needed help. And then drive an hour from the house, come help you, and I sure called in work that next morning.
Yeah, it was it was definitely hell because, like, it's just a big old hill.
Yep.
Steep slope.
Big mountain.
And he dropped down inside the creek bed there, just right at where the two creeks meet, just right before it, and he dropped. And I got probably about halfway up the hill by myself, and I tell you, it was hell pulling him up because he was hefty. He was a big boy. But yeah, it was definitely an exciting moment. I finally got him, and it definitely took patience to pass on that 8-pointer, to pass on so many doe that I had passed on, but I knew in my mind that I wanted him. So
you still had a whole season.
Yeah, that was probably like 3 weeks in.
Yeah.
I think 3 weeks in after opening day, and I had got him, and which was exciting because I knew I would. He was consistent on coming in as much as he was, along with that 9-pointer. The 8-pointer only came in a few times. That 6-pointer came in once. The spike came in once. But there was definitely plenty of doe out there. Man, they're everywhere out there. But yeah.
So Joey, we're going to skip ahead of this next question because we basically named everything on that. So here, how far was the shot that you took of your buck?
That shot, he was probably right at 20-21 yards. I think to the tree behind him where I had my camera at was actually like the 24-25 yard mark. Yeah. So for him it was about 20-21 yards.
Good deal. Yeah, he's always coming in. The does are coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so what was the longest shot that you have made on a successful archery or rifle?
That was the first shot for archery ever.
Yeah.
So that was my longest for archery. Rifle was probably the, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago. The doe I took, she was probably about, I'd say a good 150, 200 yards out from me in my stand there. So that was probably the longest successful rifle shot that I've had, and that I literally had just bought that rifle. Just bought that, I think, the weekend before, and went out on opening day that morning.
Do you have a sight?
Yeah, it had a sight on it. What is the sight on that? Off the top of my head, I can't remember it. I think it's ProTech or Pro. I can't remember. But yeah, it was only laser or bore sighted in, and hadn't shot with it yet. That was the first bullet that had went through that barrel, and I mean, right exactly where I was aiming at, right there at the shoulders, aiming at the heart.
And down she goes.
And down she goes. She literally, because she was going uphill, and she probably went uphill maybe 20 yards and dropped. So yeah, that was nice. I almost couldn't find her, to be honest with you, because she fell. She was so small, and, and from some distances you can't really tell how big they are, and so she was kind of small, and ended up dropping in some tall grass just right off to the left of where she was at going up the hill. And again, like with the buck, like at first I went exactly where I hit her at. I could not find blood spur I couldn't find any blood. And I just kept walking around. I'm like, come on, I know she dropped. I saw her drop. And I go walking around. I finally get a glimpse of a little spot. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna walk this way. And then I see a big old spot, and then sure enough, went up a little further uphill than where she was at, and I just happened to see her out of my peripheral, just laying there. And again, I was excited, went up, went down, got her, and took my picture of victory. And
yep, deer meat's always exciting.
Oh yeah.
All right, Chewy. So, what type of ideas are we coming up for this next hunting season?
Ooh, that bird will get you. What was the question?
I said, what ideas were you already making for this next season?
Oh. Well, this next season, we actually got a new place, a new plot of land that we can go hunt. 44 acres down in
Pine Knot,
Kentucky. Butts right up against Daniel Boone National Forest there. So we know there's going to be some monsters that are going to be running through there.
Very good sightings already.
Also, too, the neighbor at my father-in-law's property, we're gonna contact him because he owns the property all that surrounds ours. We're literally like a little island, a 10-acre island, just right in the middle of his, and it's at least almost 200 acres surrounding us. So we're gonna go talk to him and see if he'll let us go a little deeper down into the woods there, find out where he hunts at, and see if it'll be all right for us to go to an area where he's not at, because we walked through the woods that day you shot your doe, and we went tracking for it, and found some great spots. We know where we've seen a couple of his stands at, and there's just so many great spots around that area.
Yeah.
And so we're going to see if we can maybe go a little further in, down from where we currently are, and set up a spot down there, clear out a little bit, and set up a stand or a blind just to get started.
Yeah, turkey season's gonna be pretty exciting down there too. After bumping 45 turkey.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. We
never seen anything like it.
We come walking through, this was the second day. We went the next day out to go look for your doe, try to track her again, because with the day you got her, shot her, we couldn't find her. We ended up losing the blood trail, and saw tracks that looked like they were fresh tracks, and followed them for a while, and nothing. So the next day we went out, we followed the same area, came walking through, ended up coming up the ridge there, back up toward my father-in-law's farm, and we ended up hitting a spot where we took one step and it was 15, 20 turkey go taking off flying.
Yep.
And after they flew off, we took another couple steps, another 10, 15 took off flying.
Yep.
And then
couple more steps.
Couple more steps, and there was probably about 5, 10 that ran up the hill.
Yep.
It's crazy how many that were sitting there, and we get to the spot where they were at, and yeah, they were all just sitting there bedding down. Just you can see the beds everywhere, the scratches everywhere. Just it was crazy. So hopefully we can get them. And I know they're around there because one of the days I went out to go get my 10, I come walking out of the woods, and I probably had about 10 or 12 of them take off down by Papaw's tree stand.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they heard me and just took off, and I just kept seeing just more and more just run through. They just kept coming. It's like it was never ending. So it should be a good year this year for them out there. Last year was not good at all. You could honestly, I don't even think I really truly heard any. I think I was the neighbors.
Every day, I mean, I had 7 come in, and I just couldn't get them any closer than 70 yards. Don't know why. Had no idea. Alright, Jewy, so I know it's March, what, the 2nd here?
Yeah, March 2nd.
Alright, well, this question is going to be a little tough for you, but are you seeing any bucks on camera?
No. No, not at the moment. Honestly, at the moment, my cameras aren't actually transmitting pictures anymore. The one's batteries are dead. Need to get a solar panel and 12 volt for that one, so that one can keep going. My other one, I don't know. It's just like it'll transmit for a little bit and then it'll stop, and then I'll go out there, I'll turn it on and off. It'll start transmitting again for that day, and then all of a sudden, boom, it stops.
Yep.
So I don't know what's going on with that one.
A lot of people has problems with that company.
Yeah.
Alright, so what's your expectations for 2021 hunting season?
I think 2021 is actually going to be a good year, not only for me, but for the both of us, and for game in general. Like I said, we got the new spot down there in Pine Knot, the 44 acres. We're going to contact the neighbor out at the farm to see if we can expand a little bit further into the woods on his land and whatnot. And we also got the guy from River Rock, I think it's River Rock, or Rock River Outfitters.
Yep.
His name's Chris as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So
can you get that name wrong?
just talked to him actually yesterday, and he actually is working out at Sportsman's Warehouse there. And,
oh really?
yeah. But he's got what I say it was 3,300 acres. Yeah. Just he said it was southeast of Brea. He books hunting trips for groups of people. He's got an old cabin or house down there that was built in, like, I think he said it was like 1800 or it was like 1918 or something like that.
Yeah.
That they fixed up, and that's where the lodging's at for the groups that come down. They provide the meals and everything, and then they actually will take them out to some of their spots where their tree stands and whatnot are set up, and he actually contacted us, and I've been in talks with him, and you know, he was talking to me about potentially letting us come down for a weekend and hunt down on that land down there. And he said it's before they started booking the hunting trips. He said it had been 3 years since that land had been hunted.
Wow.
And he said I think not last year. Yeah, it was last year. They had someone get a buck that scored 211.
Yeah. I remember
211 inches on that land. So, yeah, if we can get down there with him, I think that'll be another area we can at least go down for a weekend, maybe 2, and hunt, and probably pull us out a monster if possible.
Oh yeah. All right, Chewy, are we going to do any fishing over the summer?
Definitely we are. Didn't really get to do much last year, but hopefully this year we can actually get out a lot more and do some good fishing. We can go down. Obviously, we can go down the Tennessee to North Lake,
yep,
down there and go fishing. You know, go to some of the lakes around Kentucky, like Cumberland, Williamstown Lake. You know, it's nearby. We can go up in Indiana to Brooksville Lake. Go up to East Fork Lake up there in Ohio.
Yeah, we also got the barn down in Pine Knot too, where we can stay at. And
True.
Cumberland's literally
Right around the
25
corner.
minutes away.
Yeah, so yeah, I feel like we'll definitely be getting some more fishing in this year. We also, you know, got someone that we're sponsoring for a fishing tournament coming up.
Yep, down there in Cumberland this
Down
weekend.
in Cumberland. He's got some of our gear he's wearing. He's a real good fisherman. He actually won first place in a tournament last year.
Yep.
What is it, like right at the last minute? There was a guy that...
No, his couple cast, he pulled in a 4.9, and then he thought he was going to get the lead or stay in the lead the entire time. But then, yeah, like you said, the last couple minutes, he just kept waiting and waiting, and a guy pulled in a monster, and Luke's fish was still the biggest. And so Luke won the prize money down there, and after that he contacted us, and we reached out back to him, and that's how it went. Now he's sponsored with Aim for Game Outdoors, and Luke, we wish you the best of luck this weekend, buddy. Just remember, just have fun.
Yeah, good luck. Best of luck to you. We hope you have a great time. For one, fishing is always a fun, great time. But also, two, hopefully you pull in one of them big ones. You rip them lips, brother.
Rip
the lips. And take home the trophy. So best of luck to you, and hopefully, you know, we'll have some more stories to get to you, some more stories to tell everybody. We got a few more people that we are going to be doing the show with.
Yep.
Got them lined up, and we'll be bringing some more to you. So.
Yep.
Hope you all enjoy this one.
Yeah. First one down, many to go.
Many to go.
Thank you for watching.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for watching our video. If you liked it, make sure you give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more, make sure you subscribe to our channel and you hit that bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we post up a new video. Remember, you can always support us by going to aimforgameoutdoors.com and picking you up some official Aim for Game merch. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Happy hunting.